Hello everyone, it's RealMistry here. Today's video will be very different. I'm definitely reading this off a script because I don't want to forget anything. When creating a big project, or even trying to bring something new to the table, one can forget the people who helped get the project to where it is now, or in the future. Personally, I do not want to forget. In fact, I want you all to know who was behind me every step of the way, or even in front of me to lend me a hand, give me a solution to get me out of a hole I dug myself into. Without these people, Roulette would be an idea that would have eventually been discarded. As James Allen said, no duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks. This is me doing that, in the best way I can. After all, it's the thought that counts. I hope. Majority of the people mentioned in this video have been helping or consulting with me from the beginning to end, and I don't want any of their hard work to go unappreciated. I am certain I have bothered them so much in the past few months that they probably ripped their hair out. So, here is how I'll do this. I'll mention each person off the top of my head and leave any information in the description below. This way you can follow them and see any projects they may be working on. Let's begin. First up, we have Cuestick Simpson. He's been around to help me even before this project. In late November 2015, I pitched him an extremely horrible and not so thought out version of Roulette. It was a surprise Q understood what I was trying to pitch to him. But all he said was, just do it. Long story short, he helped with a lot of the trump card names, he was a graphics consultant and technical consultant, and he has even sat with me for 3 to 4 hours as I go through rules with him. Please check him out on the Politically Incorrect Gamers podcast, or Pigs Pod as they say. You can also catch him on the Little Light podcast. The next person was around for the early stages, but he also still got a chance to watch it unfold as the weeks progressed. Just like Cuestick, I pitched this idea to the JrACE, and he was on board immediately as well. JrACE also contributed to creating the names for the trump cards. He was also a graphics and technical consultant. Many times Ace would pitch an idea that would help further my horrible attempt at making this work. He left town for a while, but he still managed to make time to see my various updates to this project as well. You'll be seeing him a lot very soon, maybe even in many more videos to come. He's always down to play Halo whenever he can, so send him a friend request. Without this next person, this idea may never have come to me. I've mentioned many times Roulette was an idea that sparked in a Drunken Halo free-for-all game night. Bryce from the DrknHaloPodcast had the genius idea of randomly selecting weapons by cycling them and telling someone to tell him to stop. Later in that very game night, I came up with the idea of adding a kill to win condition that needed to be met on the final kill of the game. In that very moment, everyone was down to give it a shot. Looking back at those games and creating videos for them is where I realized Roulette can actually work. As I was working on the project, Travis would then become a technical consultant and beta tester. A very good one at it too. He won majority of the games he participated in. If you haven't figured it out yet, Travis is one of the hosts of the DrknHaloPodcast. Please check them out and subscribe to their podcast. Next is the one guy that was there for every alpha test and beta test without question, or he was suckered into this one too many times. So he says. Werth was always there as a graphics consultant, alpha tester, beta tester, and rules consultant. He would disagree with some of my rules or suggestions, but also put a lot of his thoughts into it. Majority of the time he was right, but the look inversion is still staying in there, man. Sorry. But it's a serious challenge I want players to face. Changing their look sensitivity didn't really change much, especially to the flow. Werth is always fun to play Halo with, so add him and get some games with him. Then later ask him, Werth, are you there? The next person is Traxoline. What an incredible Halo player. In the alpha tests he was in, he won majority of those games. Unfortunately, he was only around for the first 2 alpha tests, but he was around to let a hand behind the scenes. I would discuss with him many topics related to Roulette, and he'd always put his 2 cents in. In fact, he pitched the most ideas or complaints in the alpha tests. He is also the sole reason equal starts became a thing. Every time I spoke to him, he always added more work somehow, especially when I thought I was almost there. If it wasn't for Traxoline's support and positive attitude, I probably wouldn't have gotten in contact with the Delta Halo crew. Whenever Traxoline is online, send him a friend request. He's always fun to play with. The other half of the Drunken Halo podcast always wanted to play Roulette for what I wanted it to be, not others. In many cases, when others disagreed with many of my rules, he would be the only one to defend me. Not because they were good or bad rules, but because he wanted to push me to make it what I wanted it to be. This is something I've noted because I was always trying to satisfy everyone else, but he is a constant reminder of bringing what you want to the table, and then everything else will fit in place. Regardless, I'm not changing the look inversion rule for a player that already plays inverted by default. Justin Bryce's work on the DrunkenHaloPodcast is incredible. Please, I urge you to check him out if you haven't, and subscribe to their podcast feed. You will not regret it. The next person is a constant reminder of everyone not liking to try new things, or try to change things in general. People like originality. Robowski alpha-tested Rumble Roulette, and it was a victim to a rigged game against him. To be honest, with an experience like that, it seems fair he would never want to play again. Poor soul had to change his look inversion, change his button layout to southpaw, he was forced to use assault rifle, and he could not melee. Please, if you see him online, send him a friend request and play Halo with him. He's always looking for someone new to play with. The next 3 players will be put together in one, but no one in the group was ever more excited to play this than Drewcifer, Krysta, and Bonks. I just wish I didn't lose the footage from the tests. Their charisma towards playing this was magnetic. Every time I knew these 3 were around for a game night, I always knew I was in for a great game night. Their initial reaction to seeing Rumble Roulette was the nail in the coffin for me. I knew I came up with something new to bring to the table when I saw them react. They were flabbergasted, overwhelmed, and excited at the same time. Whenever I played with them, we were guaranteed an animated game night. Drewcifer and Krysta always found subs to play test with, and that always amazed me. They never let me down. Whenever you get a chance, play with Bonks. I also urge you to listen to the two podcasts evolved. Drewcifer and Krysta are always a joy to listen to, along with their many hosts. I know I've probably missed many more people, and I'm sorry for that. Little Miss Psycho, Solus Cthulhu, SGTxBobcat from the DrknHaloPodcast, and TwiztedShotzTV from Rectify Gaming Podcast are all people that helped in a big way. They helped open my eyes to the wider scope of Rumble Roulette. But to everyone mentioned and not mentioned in this video, I really do appreciate all the help, advice, and attention given to this project, and so I say thank you. Thank you so much for helping make this happen. If it weren't for any of you, this would have been a forgotten project. Well, I can't wait to see you guys in the next video, or even play in the next game night. Until next time.